Yeah, good evening all. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible to all, right?
Yes, Vijay, it's visible. Voice is clear.
Thank you. Yes. So Azure Data Engineering, I was just giving introduction to this, right? Different data engineering products or services, right? So data engineers with the help of different cloud services work on the data and make it structured and useful, right? They are responsible for data flow, right? Flowing of the data smoothly from the source to destination. So this everything, as I said, preparation of data, cleansing of data, transformation of data, and processing of the data. Yes, more than 80% of the data analysis work is done by the data engineers, right? Yes. Let okay. Data scientist, data analyst, right? So one is for strategizing the future, and one is for summarizing the past. So he will data scientist analyze the data, identify the patterns and recommendations for the future, and analyst analyze the data, summarizes the data for the past, and visualizing the data, right? See, as I said, data engineer does the data engineer does the groundwork for the data scientist and analyst data engineering. So from where he has to bring the what are the sources from where he need to bring the data from, what is the format, in what format the data, right? What in what format data is expected and how to transform the data, and what is the destination of the data and what is the target of the data, right? So as we said, right, why we are going for the cloud? Yes. So here, hardware infrastructure, purchasing data, see, and the OS installation, database, purchasing a database license, installation of database servers, designing database objects. For all this, we require separate teams like hardware, operating system, networking, security, and administrators. And finally, we require database administrators, but everything we have to maintain, right? All this. But here, everything in the cloud premises, no need to maintain all this. We need to maintain, we no need to maintain any infrastructure, we no need to maintain any licenses. Here, everything in cloud environment, right? So just I was briefing you in the last class, the role of this Azure data engineer, architecture design, data, that is data warehouse creation, ETL, performing data monitoring, data security, communicating with the business teams and the data scientists, deployment and analytics. So this is what I was discussing, Azure data engineering products like Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, Cosmos DB, streaming, and Key Vault. So even like a Azure, whatever it is, as a Azure Data Factory developer, Azure Databricks, right? You'll be communicating with the other products, right? Other services. So Azure SQL, it's a cloud or DBMS, right? For performing OLTP operations. It is a cloud or DBMS database of Microsoft. It is for OLTP operations. OLTP captures the end user's transactions. It is not for data warehouse, Azure SQL. Azure Data Lake means it's a distributed file system. It's a distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is Data Lake. Okay. So distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is, it is a file system, right? Just like in Hadoop HDFS on premises it is, but in Azure Data Lake, it's cloud distributed file system. It is a repository of large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, right? Yes. Not only like Azure Data Lake, every data lake provides some benefits, right? Every cloud data lake is going to provide some benefits like unlimited storage, data storage, supporting all varieties of data like structured, unstructured, and semi-structured, right? Like supports all formats, any types of files, and here like a txt, csv, tar, zip, gzip, and any of the other files. Here data is in files means we cannot set up, yesterday I was discussing, right? If data is in the files, we cannot have relationship between the files. If data in tables means we can have some relationship by using primary key or foreign key. So taking some different files like this, here we cannot set up relationship between these files. But if you have tables, right, we can set up, right? I was saying like here, we have got some orders sales transactions, customers and products. You have what's its tables. Relationship means what order, and this order for which product, and you are booking for which customer. And once that order is confirmed, it is a transaction, right? So we have got some relation expecting a. So I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS, that is for the two used for data warehouse, right? I'm expecting a cloud or DBMS, but cloud or DBMS means you can say, okay, Azure SQL you can say, but that too, that is not for data warehouse, but that too used for data warehouse, that too I'm expecting parallel processing. There is nothing but Azure Synapse Analytics, right? So we'll get all these features in that. So Azure Synapse Analytics, we have a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. In Synapse Analytics, we have got a database called Azure Synapse SQL Pool DB. Simply we say Synapse DB. Synapse DB, right? It's a cloud data warehouse of Azure, right? So when to go for Azure Data Lake and when to go for Azure Synapse means data lake means, okay, data lake and Azure Synapse means both are in the place of data warehouse, right? Both are in the place of data warehouse. When to go for Azure Synapse means if data is in a structured format, it is recommended, right? If data is in unstructured or semi-structured, right? Generally we go for Azure Data Lake. ADF. See, data lake, Synapse, okay. Data lake is a cloud distributed file system. Synapse is a data warehouse, that is RDBMS. But ADF, here we have got OLTP systems, here we have got data warehouses. If we talk about the OLTP systems, different databases, and Azure SQL also is a kind of OLTP system, right? And here data warehouse like Azure Synapse, Azure Data Lake, like distributed file system and data warehouse. Between this, okay. Data where, okay. Between these two OLTP systems, and I want to bring some data. I want to bring these transactions of this OLTP transactions into this data warehouse. Who does this? ADF. See, data warehouse means storing historical data. Data warehouse, nothing but storing historical data, previous data. So all transactions are generally captured at OLTP systems. All transactions captured at OLTP systems means here they are captured at this OLTP systems. But how to bring these transactions into warehouse systems? We have ETL. Previously, we have got ETL technologies, right? Like Informatica, Data Stage, Talent, right? On premises they are. But I need a ETL on cloud. I want a ETL on cloud. That is what ADF. That is what ADF. Using
I just have a question.
Yes.
For this Informatica data stage, will they work in cloud?
So they are on premises, right? They are on premises.
So if you want to make them work in cloud, it will not work?
I need a ETL on cloud. That is what we are going for ADF, right?
Okay.
So we can connect with using ADF. We can connect with anything, cloud databases, non-cloud databases, NoSQL databases. So after, see, Informatica, okay, previously, if you go back, it has got a lot of boom, like Informatica, data stage data. Later, you got big data, Hadoop, these things where you can perform this ETL kind of things, right? But even though they are on premises, now in the cloud premises, we have got all these things, our services are available where you can perform these things. So these are the different services. And even for thus, we got a Databricks is available. For if we talk about this big data like Spark environment, we have got Databricks. For this ETL, we have got this ADF, we have got. So generally, we extract data and pump the data into data lake or Synapse and perform transformations. Once data reached into data lake, so we have parallel processing. So distributed file system where you can see parallel processing. So previously, if you talk about that on They were taking some hours of time, but here we get minutes of time. We can process that, right? So here, previously we talk about here, it is ETL. Here it is extracting, transforming, and loading. ETL means extracting and transforming load, right? But our working style is ELT. Extract from different data sources, extract the data from different, load it into one place, later transform it. So if you talk about ETL is for small volumes of data, but ELT is for huge volumes of data. Yes. Observe here, here Azure SQL in the OLTP systems, data warehouse, you have got this Synapse and data lake. So here, ADF. ADF, right? ADF. So here OLTP systems I was mentioning, data warehouse systems I'm mentioning, right? ADF doesn't come in OLTP. And ADF, Azure Data Factory, doesn't come in DWH. It is an integration service. It is an integration service, I can say, right? ADF is a integration service. It is an integration service between OLTP systems and data warehouse. Or ADF, I can say it is a data integration. I can say ADF. It is a data integration service. ADF is a data ingestion service, I can say. So here it integrates, it is a integration service integrating OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. So here, okay. All transactions generally captured at OLTP systems. For bringing these transactions into warehouse, we have got ETL, but here on a cloud, I need a ETL and cloud. That is what ADF, right? Using ADF, we can connect with any of this. Yes.
Sorry, Vijay. One quick question. Let's say we have two different databases on-prem. I want to migrate the data to cloud. Can I use ADF to migrate the data from on-prem to cloud?
Yes, yes. So different OLTPs. I was talking about whatever OLTPs you are using, right? Whatever it may be, right? Just bringing it. Yes. So I was talking for small, okay. For huge volumes, right? For huge volumes, ETL is banned. ELT. Generally, like if you go for big data, huge data, right? Yes. So why I'm discussing all these services or components means, even though if you go for an ADF developer, you need to interact with all these products or services. So now coming to this, right? I was just giving Azure SQL. It is for cloud RDBMS, for OLTP operations, not for data warehouse, not for analytics, not for batch processing. Synapse, right? It is RDBMS for data warehouse, for analytics. We just say like Synapse Analytics. and for batch processing, right? For batch applications and for parallel processing. Data lake, cloud distributed file system for unlimited data storage and for parallel processing. Data factory, you can say like a cloud ETL, right? Cloud ETL, right? It's a data integration service. It has, it integrates both OLTP and data warehouse systems. Next, I talk like Databricks, Azure Databricks. So I want to discuss on this Azure Databricks. Previously, yesterday I was discussing about Azure Data Factory and Azure Synapse, right? Yesterday my discussion was in Azure Synapse and data. Yes. First, okay. First, forget about this Azure Databricks. First, what is the Databricks? Normal Databricks.
Hello, sir. Are you taking any portion of PySpark in with ADB?
Yes.
Okay, because yesterday I have seen the course content, but there was no PySpark there, so I'm asking.
No. I'll be discussing it.
Okay.
People who want, okay, especially people who are looking for only PySpark, right? Yesterday I was saying, people who wants only like tomorrow Saturday if there is a weekend batch also available. Tomorrow Saturday at 5:30 p.m. a new PySpark batch is also going to start. Only PySpark, totally like PySpark will be
Along
discussed.
with the same course,
No, it's a separate only for only PySpark will be discussed.
then can we join?
And pardon?
Can we join that batch?
Yes, anything is okay. That is a separate batch which is not related to this.
Okay.
That is separate batch only for PySpark.
Okay.
Everything will be discussed in brief, in depth. It will be discussed for PySpark.
Okay.
Okay. So what is Databricks? So what is Databricks, right? Yes. Here, just people who are not from this Spark environment, or not from big data environment, right? So just Azure Data. First, what is normal Databricks means? Provides Spark cluster. Provides Spark cluster in cloud. Okay. Generally, you may ask people who doesn't have idea, right? What is a Spark? What is a Spark, right? So we can say it's a very high speed processing execution model, right? At a very high rate of speed, we can process the data. So I can say it is a execution model. With high speed. So it is an execution model to process big data with high speed. What are the features? What are the main features of this Spark? Mainly like in-memory computation. Mainly like in-memory computation. And supports MMP. Massive parallel process. So in-memory computation means in-memory computation where your data getting stored and data getting processed within the memory level, not disk level. Whatever you are going to perform, right? Storage and processing everything in the memory level, right? Means within the RAM level. Everything you are going to perform within the RAM level, storage and processing, not at the disk level, right? So if you take the Spark, right? 100 times faster. 100 times faster than normal disk processing. Very high speed because of this in-memory computation and because of this parallel processing. And we have got many other features that I'm not going to discuss as of now. Like many other features like lazy evaluated. Lazy evaluated means on demand only executing the flow. Entire day. Whenever you perform any action only, that has to be executed. That is what lazy. Generally, active evolution, lazy evolutions are there, but Spark is going to follow lazy evaluated, only on demand executing that flow. If you're making any action only, I'll execute. Otherwise, it won't execute. And it has got many other features like persistence. Already executed transformations can be reused. Many other, right? I'll be discussing it. For example, yahoo.com. In 2016, right? Yahoo.com. Tested with Spark. Having cluster of 390 nodes. 390 nodes means a cluster of nodes means nothing but CPUs. Tested with Spark having cluster means group of nodes, group of system CPUs interconnected, right? We call it like a cluster. Yahoo tested with Spark. Okay, what is the task? Sorting 1 TB data. Okay, executed in 1.2 minutes. 1.2 minutes, right? Yes. So 1 TB of data, right? In 2016, even Yahoo has tested that when Spark was introduced, right? It has taken 1.2 minutes. Same thing, right? This yahoo.com, right? In 2016, in 2013, when Spark was still not released, tested with Oracle. In 2013, yahoo.com tested with Oracle. At the time, still Spark was not yet released. Okay. Same task, sorting 1 TB data. It has taken 3.5 days. So task sorting 1 TB data executed in 3.5 days. Because here, if you talk about this Oracle, 3.5 here, 1.2 minutes means high speed. It is a high speed. But here, 3.5 days, it's a bad speed. But if you go back like 10 years, right, at that time, okay, it is the speed, it's okay, it's good. Because here, Oracle, no parallel processing. Taking a lot of time. But if you got, there are many tests, Yahoo has conducted tests with other databases and other specialized databases also, right? Not only like Oracle, it has done with MySQL. It has done with MySQL database, right? MySQL database has taken nearly 6 days to process it. And it has tested with some specialized databases like used for data warehouse like Teradata, right? Teradata has just taken 4.5 hours, right? The same thing, Teradata has taken 4.5 hours. Here, Teradata, parallel processing. You can see like parallel processing.
With this Oracle, Teradata, everything, they don't have any processing engines, right?
So handling this 1 TB of data, right? I'm talking about handling this much of data. Netija.
Oh.
So some kind of sorting operation I was performing on this huge this kind of data, right? What is the time taken hours? Yes. Netija has taken 3 hours. Netija also, it's a specialized data warehouse used for, it's a specialized database used for data warehouse purpose, right? Yes. Later checked with, in 2013, we have got Hadoop is available later, Hadoop. It has taken 4.2 minutes, 4.2 minutes. Hadoop, at that time, Hadoop used MapReduce. Hadoop used MapReduce. Execution model was what? MapReduce. Now you got Spark. Now you got Spark, right? Yes. Both Hadoop and Spark combinedly. Hadoop plus Spark combinedly, right? They are used. (1.2 minutes). So high speed for big data is Spark. So high speed processing system for huge data is Spark. So here parallel process systems, here Spark. So here Spark has got a parallel processing system with in-memory computation. But here, okay, whenever I talk about the ADB, Azure Databricks, right, I'll need to talk about this Spark, where you need to work with Spark, right? But problem here, problem with Spark. Problem with Spark is independently it cannot run. Independently it cannot run. It needs a cluster. So here Spark is a high-speed processing where we see in-memory computation, parallel processing, but independently it cannot run. It needs a cluster. So okay, for example, Spark runs on-premise clusters like Hadoop. Hadoopian we say, right? Yes. Okay, for example, let me say that what is the problem here with the on-premise clusters like Hadoop. Example, assume we have 500 nodes. 500 nodes means CPUs. Assume this 500 nodes, this 500, okay, 500 nodes. Assume it is worthy processing 2 dB, 2 TB of data. 2 TB of data at a time. (500 nodes, you have got a cluster of 500 nodes which are interconnected, means the CPUs, right? This 500 node cluster at a time, right? It can handle like 2 dB of data at a time, right? Suddenly, for example, tomorrow, your data volume increased. Your data volume increased. What happens if I use the same cluster? If same cluster used, speed goes down. Speed goes down because data volume increased. So what we need to do? So we need to scale up the, so we need to scale up the cluster. Scaling up the cluster means scaling up the cluster, adding some few extra nodes. Scaling up the cluster by adding new nodes. Assume 100 nodes added. Assume 100 nodes added. And again, data increased. Again, data is increasing. Data is increasing. Data is increasing. After 2 months, again 100 nodes. 100 nodes added. Every time whenever data is increasing, right? Nodes are keeping added. Nodes are keeping added, right? When data is increasing, right? Yes. So every time, what is the drawback you see here? Every time scaling up your physical data center. Every time scaling up your physical data center, right? Is a complex task, right? Previously data increased. Okay, observe that. Previously, increased by small amount. But today if you see, data volume increased by large amount. But today if you see, at a very high rate, data is increasing at a high rate of speed, right? So every time the data volume keep on increasing. Data volume increased by large amount. So what is that? Every time scaling up, right? The physical data centers is a so that's why what I'm expecting. So that's why industry needs, yes, cloud industry needs a cloud cluster for Spark. So what? That's why otherwise I need a cluster. I need a cloud cluster. I need the same cluster in cloud. And what are the other things I want? I need the same cluster in the cloud. And that too with auto scaling, right? At auto scaling capability, right? I need some cluster in the cloud and the two with auto scaling capability. Whenever more required, at that time auto scaling happens. Who is providing this? Who is providing this? Database. Simple. What do you mean by normal Databricks? Databricks, right? Yes. Spark Cloud Cluster. With auto scaling. Feature. For example, observe. For example, today, my data load. Requires 100 nodes. Requires 100 nodes. For example, today data load requires, but tomorrow it is increased. Tomorrow data volume increased. It has to be extended. It has to be extended to 200. It has to be extended to, please be in mute. It has to be, yes. It has to be extended 200 automatically. After processing is completed, so my data load 100 nodes. If data volume increased, again it has to be extended to, after processing is complete, again it has to revert back to 100 nodes. This is general database. This whatever I discussed is, this is general database. One thing, it cannot interact with, what is the other thing? General Databricks, it cannot interact. It cannot interact with my Azure storage services. So, for example, okay, in Azure, storage services are, in Azure storage services are, right. As I discussed, one is Azure SQL, generally for OLTP and user transactions. Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse. Okay. So these things, my general Databricks cannot interact with this Azure storage services. So whatever you want, auto scaling, everything you are going to get, but regular Databricks is not compatible with Azure services. So that's why. Microsoft plus Databricks. Microsoft and Databricks. Azure Databricks. See, Databricks is not only for Azure environment, even you got for AWS, for Google, for all this. So, but Microsoft for Azure, Microsoft as Databricks collaborative launched a new product called Azure Databricks. So just what is normal general Databricks, what it is going to perform in Spark on premises and on cloud premises. Now, now just to define, right? Just to say Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks, right? Now, what it is? Azure Databricks. Now, can you define this Azure Databricks? It is a Spark cluster, I can say, Spark cluster with auto scaling as compared with normal Databricks, right? It is a Spark cluster with auto scaling and compatible with all okay, with auto scaling and compatible with all Azure data storage services, right? Yes. Now, I'm saying like Azure Databricks, ADB. Now, Azure Databricks. Now, Azure Databricks can read data from a data lake. So, but for normal Databricks, right, we have got a lot of other settings. We need to call different other APIs. Similarly, ADB can read from, not only ADB can read from a data lake or from Azure SQL, from Cosmos DB. Synapse DB. So now ADB can read data from a data lake, Azure SQL, and Cosmos DB, Synapse DB. In Databricks, who is processing the data? Who is processing the data in Databricks? Spark. So to execute Spark, for executing, right? To execute, right? I need a cluster, and that too with auto scaling feature compatible with Azure storage services, right? So in Databricks, Spark is processing. For Spark, I require a cluster and with auto scaling feature, and that compatible with Azure storage services. Spark is in Azure Databricks, Spark is an execution weapon, right? And you are a developer to provide instructions to process the data in the form of coding to perform some complex transformations, right? If we talk like Spark, so generally we use that generally today in the industry, we are going with Python Spark with Python implementation, we say like PySpark. And also Spark, not only with Python, Spark has got multiple language support like Scala, Java, or language, right? 4 languages it supports as of now, but in the future it may support many other languages. Spark is supporting mainly today in the industry, they are using Python and Scala. Spark with Python, say like PySpark, Spark with Scala, right? Scala is only used for Spark environment. See, one more thing I say, Spark, Scala language, Python language, Java language. But Java not supported with Azure Databricks. See, Spark can be coded with right.
Vijay, here one point I have not understood. No ADB can read data from data lake. Generally, that ADB can interact with the Azure storage services, right? No
Yes,
ADB
yes.
means
Yes, sir. Just that interaction I'm talking, right? So here, Azure Data Services compatible with all Azure storage services, right? Azure Data Services. Just by understanding, I said, where is it? General.
Basically, there is spelling mistake. It's not no, it's now.
is no ADB, and I understand. Yeah,
What is it? Where is it?
yeah.
No,
No
no,
ADB.
no. Now it is. Now it is.
Yeah. So that's why
Now
confused.
ADB. Okay, you're talking about it. Now ADB can read data from. So Azure Storage Service. Now ADB can read data from data lake, Azure SQL, Cosmos DB. Previously, I was talking about normal Databricks. Normal Databricks, right? Not compatible with all Azure services. Regular Databricks is not compatible with Azure services. Yes. Here, now ADB can read data from data lake, Azure SQL, Cosmos DB, from anything. For any of this Azure data storage, it can perform, right? It can interact ADB.
Then what
But
is
not,
DBFS, sir? DBFS. It is also storage, I think.
so generally, okay, storage systems, we have got many storage systems, right? Even if you talk about for huge data storage, right? We have got HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system, we got, right? So, but these are for on premises, right? We need to maintain clusters, everything, what I was saying previously, just we need to maintain separate teams for it, for all that. But in the cloud, you need to do all those things, right? Okay. See, Spark is a very fast execution model with a high rate of speed. We can process huge data. So Python, Scala, Java, and the R languages means Spark execution remains same in all this, but implementation language is going to change. Python, Scala, Java, and R language. As of now, it is supporting this, but here, especially Java not supported. Java not supported, right? Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks. So generally, Spark, some companies, depending companies to companies, some companies using Python, some companies using Scala, some using Java. Very few companies use Java language, right? But here, Java not supported by Azure Databricks. But normal Databricks, okay, it can.
But Scala is nothing but Java, right? It's an extended version of Java.
Yes. So Scala is nothing but extensible, right? It's a scalable language that is extendable language from Java. But don't forget, Spark by default built using Scala language. Spark totally built by using the Scala language. But the difference between Java and Scala, Java only total object oriented only. Without object oriented, you cannot write. But Scala, without that, it has got multiple other features like procedural oriented features, object oriented features, and script based features also Scala has got. But Java only object oriented features it has got. But still, the Java is extended with Scala features, right? More it has got additional features. But without object-oriented programming, you cannot run a Java application. But here, Scala, it can go with other things. So for ADB, Azure Databricks, Java not supported. So currently, mostly used in the industry like PySpark, Spark with Python implementation. But Spark by default built by using Scala, right? In most of the AD, right? In Databricks applications, in most of this AD, Azure Data Engineering, Databricks applications, PySpark is the majority of the code. Currently, most of the projects are available in PySpark in Databricks side. Talk about the Databricks side, right? So, okay.
So are we going to cover in detail in PySpark in this session?
Yeah,
in this course?
Yes.
Okay.
So even if you talk about this job market, right? Yes. So even the job market about this Azure data engineer, right? It's currently okay. Currently, industry is taking two separate people. ADF, one is for two separate people, means like ADF separate developer, Databricks separate developer. But in the future, okay, now you got jobs for both ADF developer, Databricks developer, right? Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you taking any live project in this under the course?
Yeah, at the last I'll be discussing one flow, right? One flow I'll be discussing. So talking about this job market of Azure data engineer, right? So every year, if you talk about lakhs of nearly 3 lakhs new companies are registering themselves on the Azure, right? So as the companies are utilizing Azure cloud services, they are increasing the number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers, right? The growth rate is really, it's close to this. Every year, the majority of companies are beginning to trust and adopt this Azure, right? So organizing, shifting to Azure, already utilizing it. And even the pay scale of the data engineers also with the highest average salary as compared with any other, right? So you can say like top two highest paying jobs, right? One is data engineer, one is data scientist. So always
So
purchasing.
which is better, sir? Is it AWS better or is Azure better in outside?
You're talking about talking about the cloud, Azure or AWS,
Yeah.
or you're talking about this
Yeah, which
database?
should be better? Actually, AWS is better. Is it highly increasing or is Azure highly increasing?
See, I'm not saying that cannot. All have got their own importance. All are good. All clouds are good.
Okay.
Data engineering jobs are emerging as a top ranking jobs, right? Even companies such as Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, they are interested in hiring data engineers. And with a great salary package, even you can see the salary package of this Azure data engineering, right? With a huge packages as compared with other technologies, right? So even
How
you need
much
to
will
have that-
expect data
you need-
engineer?
even okay, I'll come back, right? If you compare the salaries of this with other technologies, because it will be huge salaries for this data engineers, right? In the same time, you require that skills, right? All this, whatever I discussed, right? As a data engineering, you need to have that command on all these services, products, Azure data engineering products. So high paying jobs for data engineers, right? Currently, you can check in the Google, right? So even in the okay, even you can say transition between this data scientist and data engineering means I said data engineering, whatever you do, later comes the role of the data scientist. Okay. So some were asking, right, the prerequisites, right, the basic of SQL, just basic of SQL and basic Python knowledge required, right, for this. No other technologies, no need of any Java technology here. Yes, and as I said previously, we had 3 sessions till now, right? Just I was giving introduction to this Azure data engineering products. So we'll be starting with this from Monday. We are going with this, right? So tomorrow Saturday I'll be busy with the weekend classes. So yes, and even I'll deal with the big data Hadoop, big data Spark, Spark with Scala and Spark with Python, implement separate batches for Spark and Scala. Separate batches I'm handling for Spark with Python, PySpark, and for big data Hadoop and all that Hadoop, PySpark, all the separate batches are available, right? Weekend batches are there, and this is Azure data engineering. So yes, from Monday, right, we'll be going with this course. And as I provided, as you have got 3 demo sessions from the last 3 days, right? From Monday, the link is going to change. So you're supposed to get enrolled to get that link, which will be forwarded to your mail ID, right? The link. So whenever you do any payment, right, don't forget to share the screenshot of your payment to durgasoft online training @gmail.com. What most of the people do, they'll enroll and they won't share, they won't get the link, right? So you can take the contact details of this online team, that is the office team. You can see that contact details. If you're not got any link, you can just call them and just ask for the link. The same timing, 6 p.m. daily, every day. It's not a weekend batch, it's a weekday batch from. So the duration will be like 2.5 to 3 months. It will be total. We'll be discussing in brief about all these products. Mostly more concentration will be on Azure Data Factory and Databricks. And even people who wants only Data Factory, you can attend that Data Factory, right? So fine.
Vijay, can you show us that what is the content you are going to cover as part of
Yes, one
ADB
second,
with the
one
PySpark? So nowhere it is available in your DURGASOFT website. So, but the ADF part,
On
the
Saturday
details.
there is a class.
Pardon?
On Saturday is there a class?
No, Saturday they want Monday to Friday. The classes will be from Monday to Friday.
Okay. And
So here,
and you said, as per you said, ki we are join your PySpark batch in other class.
no. 1 second. They are So I was saying that if anyone interested in big data environment, big data, which covers Hadoop plus PySpark. Okay, there is a new batch starting tomorrow. It's a weekend batch at 7:30 p.m. Can
Yes,
check
but
in the
in the
DURGASOFT.
same class also there is written ki ADB with PySpark.
Yes, yes. Total in the cloud environment.
So
This
for this, only basic PySpark required, no, for AZURE data. In-depth knowledge is required.
which one for this Azure Databricks?
Yes, correct. Yeah, for AZURE data engineer, is this
Hmm.
basic knowledge PySpark required or in-depth knowledge is required? For data
Knowledge, total everything, the Spark knowledge required.
depth knowledge is it?
Depth knowledge only is required, right?
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So whatever is required, you will cover in the AZURE data engineer course, no?
Yes, yes.
ಒಂದೊಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ವಾಪಸ್.
Pardon?
ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗೀತ್ರಿ, ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಫೋನ್.
Sandeep Patil, you are talking, right? Please be in that.
Vijay, that ADB with the content, can you show us? That is not there in the website.
PySpark, ADB with PySpark. 1 second.
When is the next class now?
Next class will be on Monday, right? Monday, same timing at 6 o'clock, but the link is changing. So try to get enrolled, right, for this course. So Azure Data Engineering, right? Some data.
So I have enrolled. So I have not received the new link.
No. Link will be forwarded, right? Just 2 hours before the class, 3 hours before the class.
Okay, fine.
3 hours, at least with 1 hour before the class. If you are not received it, you can just call on these numbers, right? Azure SQL DB storage service, Azure Data Factory.
That's why I'm saying here is no PySpark introduction is given.
No, the content has been given in detail for ADF, but ADB there is no much content here. Just
Yeah.
only introduction is there here.
Yes, introduction to Azure Databricks integration data blocks. But here I said Databricks with PySpark, I'll be discussing in this. Okay. So Synapse not.
Vijay, I think this is a Samir's this one online class.
Yes.
Samir sirs.
No. Whatever it is, right? For DURGASOFT, the same thing. Everyone will forward the same.
Because Samir sirs, actually, I attended one of the demo of his, and then I shifted to yours because there was no PySpark in his content.
Okay, 1 second. So just give me a second, right? Just check this, right? Yeah, PySpark, right? So majorly I'll be discussing this data frames, different data frames, right? So working with the different data frames, PySpark, different built-in functionalities, PySpark external sources. So different, we have got many inbuilt data frame APIs available that will be discussed in this.
Vijay, we would need a more hands-on ADB, right? So compared to ADF, just ADB is more popular, right? Compared to ADF.
So just check this, right? PySpark different built-in inbuilt functionalities provided by PySpark. Those I'll be giving the knowledge, right? So even like PySpark external sources like integration with databases, narrow and wide transformations, adding down, working with window functions, states and tasks, building Spark applications, deploying Spark applications to the cluster, right? So here I'm saying that ADB with PySpark I'm going to discuss because everything deals with Spark, right? You need to have this Spark knowledge. Okay, fine. I just asked them to update this also with the ADB with PySpark. Okay, I'll forward you the next sports content, right? Apart from this.
Vijay, one last question from my end. So, what is the basic requirement? Do we need to know Python and SQL very well?
Python, at least like basic, Python is not a complex language, right? Like normal English statements will be. Python basics are required and basic SQL, enough, basic SQL knowledge is enough, right? Yes.
Because I'm not aware about Python and SQL.
So just even I deal with some Python batches also I'll be taking, right? Even for PySpark. Even if anyone interested, right, you can just enroll for that. Otherwise, you can update by Python by yourself also. It's not a complex language. Basic Python, right? Otherwise, before I just for one session, I can discuss that Python syntaxes. 1 or 2 sessions, just I can spend time for that Python before I start with the PySpark. Okay. Fine, right? So separately, like total, I said, right, people who are interested in this ADB, that much total in brief, because our total duration is 2.5 to 3 months, but there is a separate batch for PySpark, which I am dealing for 2.5 months only on PySpark. That's what I was saying, right? Tomorrow there is a batch starting on weekend where I'll be spending like total duration will be only on PySpark. Okay. But here in this Azure data engineering, like ADF, ADB, everything will be discussed. But I'll just discuss about this ADB with the PySpark, right? So I'll be giving knowledge about all those important functionalities, everything about the PySpark. But not the total PySpark is going to be discussed, but important features, functionalities, I'll be spending time with that, right? Fine. Fine, I'm running out of time. Any other queries, right? So just to get enrolled. So in depth, total you will be getting knowledge on this ADE, but still, if you want total knowledge on this PySpark, even I can provide that material notes for everything. But important topics of the PySpark, everything I'll be covering in this, right? Means important functionalities, data frames, that everything, right? I'll be covering in this because as an
So how will the PySpark look like, sir?
very simple and easy, right? We have got all inbuilt functionalities available. The Spark execution model, inbuilt actions.
So it will look like a code or something like Java code or something like that? How will it look like?
No, not like Java code. Not like huge Java code. All this we are not going to know. Very simple, right? For performing the operations, we have got all inbuilt functionalities available, right? Okay.
Okay.
Very less coding. You will see, right? You will see everything. People from non-programming background also can understand it. Yes. Without any knowledge also. So it's not a big thing. Some other said Python and SQL, not a big thing.
The reason why I'm asking is because in the company that I had worked before, they used Scala Spark actually. They wrote a 3,000 to 5,000 lines of code for ETL process, and that code was very complex to understand. So that's also written in Spark and Scala actually, but that's really I could not understand.
Code means it's generally design total project code, right? If you talk understanding the task functionalities, which deals with a lot of modules, right? So whatever the PySpark functionalities, they won't look any complex coding. People who are already done PySpark, who are attending ADE, right? You can say them, right? Means already the people who are from PySpark, who already did PySpark course, also they're attending ED in today's demo, can just see how simple the PySpark code. Even people from Spark and Scala who did a course with me, right? They are attending this ADE, can just say how simple this, whatever we discussed, right? Like I had a 3 months course on Spark with Scala, a 3 months course on this PySpark, right? So the people are attending ADE now on the cloud basis. So it looks simple, I'm saying. It's not complex. We are not Java. See, generally Python itself, right? Python itself is simple. 100 lines of Java code, we're writing in 15 to 20 lines in Python. That is the simple Python code. That's why we are using Spark with Python. Why people not going with Java? People previously, like data engineer means, if you go back to like 2012 or 10, people only like Java people used to update with this big data environment, because total everything runs on Java. But slowly, as because of this huge coding, they started migrating to other technologies, right? Okay. But slowly, what what is that Hadoop in the Hadoop and the Spark environment, right? They decreased the usage of Java, right? Because they went with Scala language. Now they are going with Python language. Apache Software Foundation, like later what it did, it has introduced that components products where the usage of Java, but still you can implement using Java, but currently industry is expecting in Python mostly and Scala, right? There won't be anything complex. Everything point to point I'll be explaining, right? Even there's all the interactive sessions. You can ask me any query. I will provide multiple examples. Everything, if any prerequisite required, I will just explain it, and I'll just show you that, right? If anything prerequisite required, that also I will explain and I'll show you to make you understand, right? Everyone will understand everything, right? Fine. Okay, we'll meet on Monday, same time at 6 p.m. But try to get enrolled for all these Hadoop services, sorry, this ADE services, right? Yes. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you on Monday.